Life doesn't always go the way we want. Some days feel heavy, full of challenges that can drain our energy and shake our spirit. But what if you could find a way to feel happy every day, no matter what's happening around you? This isn't about pretending everything is perfect or ignoring tough times. It's about learning practical steps that help you take control of your own happiness, step by step, day by day. In this guide, you'll discover simple yet powerful habits that anyone can use to build a more peaceful and joyful life. These are tools you can start using right now, no special skills needed. From how you begin your morning to how you end your day, from the way you talk to yourself to the people you choose to surround yourself with, each idea is designed to help you protect your peace and grow stronger inside. You'll find clear advice on how to set your mind in the right place, keep your energy focused, and handle hard moments without losing hope. It's about building daily habits that make happiness not something you wait for, but something you create for yourself. If you're ready to feel more calm, more confident, and more in control, this journey is for you. Keep reading, and you'll learn how to make simple changes that bring big results, helping you find real happiness even when life feels difficult. This is a chance to take your life back and live it with purpose and joy, no matter what comes your way. Chapter 1. Start each morning with purpose and clear intention. There is something quietly powerful about the way a morning begins, not because the world outside is different, but because it offers you a fresh opportunity to shape your inner world. The first hour after waking is not just another passing moment. It is the foundation of your entire day. It is the time when your mind is most open, your heart is most impressionable, and your energy is waiting to be directed. That's why starting your morning with purpose and clear intention is not just a habit. It is a way of claiming control over your life before anything else does. Most people wake up and let the day take them wherever it wants. They check their phones, scroll through updates, rush through breakfast, and run out the door hoping to keep up. But when you start your morning this way, you hand over your power to the world around you. You live reactively, not deliberately, and over time that shapes your mood, your focus, your relationships, and ultimately your happiness. There is a better way, a more grounded way. It doesn't require perfection or a complete life overhaul. It just requires a decision, a quiet, firm decision that every morning will begin with clarity, purpose, and awareness. You are not just waking up to survive the day. You are waking up to direct it, to engage with it fully, and to create something meaningful within it. That kind of mindset changes how you show up in your life, even when things are hard. Starting your morning with purpose means you are not waiting for the world to set your tone. You are setting your own. You are choosing how you will think, how you will feel, and what kind of energy you will bring into your experiences. This doesn't mean ignoring difficulties or pretending everything is perfect. It means acknowledging that even when life is hard, you still get to decide how to begin. The first step to doing this is creating space in the morning. Not just physical space, but mental space. Instead of waking up and reacting to whatever the world throws at you, create a pause. A simple pause before you reach for anything outside of yourself. That pause is where intention begins. It can be 5 minutes or 15. It can be done in silence with soft music or with your eyes still closed. The goal is not to perform a perfect routine. The goal is to be present with yourself before the noise of the world begins. During this space, ask yourself one clear question. What kind of person do I want to be today? Not what tasks you need to do, or what others expect from you, but how you want to show up in your own life. Do you want to be calm, patient, focused, kind, bold, disciplined, joyful. Choose one. Just one. Let that be your intention. Let it be the inner anchor you return to throughout the day, especially when challenges arise. The next step is clarity. Without clarity, purpose is vague. You need to know what truly matters to you, even if it's just for today. Most people carry around a long list of things they think they should do, be, or achieve. But none of those things provide peace or direction unless they are connected to what you actually care about. Clarity means identifying what matters most and giving it your attention first. It might be your health, your relationships, your growth, or simply showing up with a better attitude. Choose what matters. Let it guide your thoughts and choices. After intention and clarity, the next part is motion. Action reinforces identity. When you act on your intention, even in small ways, you build trust with yourself. You start to believe in your ability to follow through. That belief becomes the root of confidence. So begin your day with a small action that aligns with your purpose. If your intention is to be calm, maybe you start with a quiet moment of breathing. If your intention is to be strong, maybe you start with movement or a mental challenge. If your intention is to be kind, maybe you send a thoughtful message to someone or greet your loved ones with warmth. The action doesn't have to be big. It just has to be aligned. This simple structure, pause, intention, clarity, motion, can transform how you experience your days. Over time, it rewires how you think and how you feel. It helps you see the difference between what's urgent and what's important. It grounds you in purpose, which is especially important when life feels uncertain or painful. Purpose doesn't remove hardship, but it gives you a reason to keep showing up. Life is not always easy. Some mornings you will wake up tired, anxious, or overwhelmed. That is normal. But that does not mean you have to surrender the rest of your day to that feeling. This is where discipline matters. Happiness is not something you wait for. It is something you create by doing what is right, even when it is hard. Starting your morning with purpose is one of the most reliable ways to begin creating happiness, not just for today, but as a way of living. Discipline is not about being rigid. It's about being aligned with what you value. When you train yourself to begin the day deliberately, you become stronger mentally and emotionally. You become the kind of person who responds instead of reacts, who chooses instead of drifts, and who leads themselves even when circumstances are heavy. There is a quiet dignity in choosing how to begin. You are no longer dependent on outside events to feel steady. You become your own source of direction. That kind of inner leadership changes everything. It improves how you think, how you relate to others, and how you handle stress. It even changes how you sleep, because you end the day knowing you showed up on purpose. To apply this, you don't need a long list of habits. You just need a structure that works for you. Here is one way to begin. Wake up and stay in stillness for a few moments before moving. Ask yourself who you want to be today and why. Write down your intention for the day in one sentence. Identify the most important action that supports that intention. Do one small thing immediately to act on it. This process might take 5 minutes or 15. It might be done while sitting in bed, during a walk, or while sipping tea. The form doesn't matter. The presence does. The clarity does. The choice to be conscious about your direction, that is what matters. Over time, this morning practice becomes more than a habit. It becomes a rhythm, a quiet inner rhythm that centers you even when the day is noisy. It reminds you that happiness is not something that happens to you. It is something you participate in. You participate by showing up for your own life with intention and strength. There may be days when this feels like too much. Days when you want to sleep in or avoid facing the world. That's okay. But on those days, the discipline matters most. Those are the days when your future self is watching closely. When you get up anyway. When you set an intention anyway. When you choose clarity over confusion and direction over drifting, you are showing yourself what kind of person you are becoming. That choice builds something deeper than temporary happiness. It builds meaning. It builds confidence. It builds an inner life that cannot be shaken by outer chaos. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to have everything figured out. You just have to begin the day with purpose. And if you fail, you begin again. Every morning is a new invitation to show up with clarity and strength. You don't need motivation for this. You just need to remember that this is your life, and you are responsible for how you show up in it. Happiness is not a mystery. It is the result of daily choices, made on purpose with discipline and care. The morning is where those choices begin. Start with stillness. Start with intention. Start with something small but real. And over time, you will start to notice something beautiful. Your days begin to feel more peaceful, more directed, and more alive. Not because the world changed, but because you did. That is the power of starting your morning with purpose and clear intention. It is simple, it is strong, and it can change everything. Chapter 2. Build a daily routine that protects your peace. Peace is not something you stumble upon by accident. It's something you build with intention. The world will not hand it to you, and people will not always respect it. That's why you need a daily routine designed to protect it, not just once in a while, but every single day. Without a structure that prioritizes your peace, life will pull you in every direction until you forget what balance feels like. The noise will take over, the urgency will replace what matters, and the quiet space you need to breathe, to think, to live with clarity will disappear. A routine is not just about productivity, it's not about doing more. It's about choosing what you allow into your life and when. It's about creating time for what strengthens you and saying no to what drains you. A peaceful routine is one that respects your energy. It's a system you follow, not to control everything, but to bring consistency into a world that is often unpredictable. The first step is deciding that your peace matters more than the opinions of others. If you don't value your own calm, no one else will protect it for you. That means being clear about what peace looks like in your life. It might mean having space in the morning to gather your thoughts. It might mean moving your body daily to release tension. It might mean avoiding unnecessary conversations that leave you emotionally drained. Whatever it is, name it, be specific. Peace is personal, and protecting it starts by understanding what yours looks like. After that comes boundaries. No routine can protect your peace if your boundaries are weak. You have to decide what you allow into your day. You don't owe anyone your constant availability. You don't have to reply immediately to every message. You don't need to accept every invitation. People will always want more of you. Not because they're bad, but because they don't know your limits. It's your job to make those limits clear through your actions. Protecting your peace through routine means carving out time for what restores you. Even 10 minutes of quiet, even a short walk, even the habit of closing your eyes for a moment before rushing into the next thing. Your nervous system needs recovery. Your mind needs silence. Your body needs rest. If your routine has no place for these things, you will feel scattered and tired, no matter how successful you seem. Simplicity is another key. Too many people pack their day with tasks they don't need to do, trying to prove their worth through busyness. But peace doesn't come from being busy. It comes from being honest about what really matters. A peaceful routine is one that reduces mental clutter. It gives you fewer decisions to make by creating order. When you know what comes next, you free your brain from stress. The energy you waste wondering what to do is energy you could spend on things that truly matter. You also need consistency. A routine is not something you try for a week. It's something you commit to, so it can carry you through hard days. There will be mornings when you don't feel like following it. There will be days when your mind resists the structure. That's normal. But the power of a routine is that it gives you something to lean on when your motivation is low. When life is overwhelming, your routine becomes a quiet promise to yourself that you will keep showing up in the right way. A peaceful routine includes deliberate breaks, time when you are not working, not scrolling, not planning, time when you are just being. These pauses are not a luxury, they are essential. Your mind is not meant to be in constant output. Your body is not designed for non-stop tension. Even short breaks during the day can lower your stress and restore your focus. Put them into your routine on purpose. Don't wait until you crash. Prevent the crash. You also need a routine for how you end your day. Peace doesn't just come from how you start. It comes from how you close. If you fall asleep with your mind full of unfinished thoughts and tension, your rest will suffer. Design a short wind-down ritual. It could be as simple as turning off your phone early, writing down what you're grateful for, or reading something calming. The point is to signal to your brain that it's safe to let go, that the day is done, that it's okay to rest. Part of protecting your peace is making space for the unexpected. No routine is perfect. Life will interrupt it. People will need you. Plans will change. That's okay. A peaceful routine is not rigid. It's flexible enough to adapt without falling apart. Build margin into your day. Leave space between tasks. Don't fill your calendar so tightly that there's no room to breathe. Peace is not found in perfection. It's found in how you respond when things shift. Remove what doesn't serve you. This might be the hardest part, but it's also the most necessary. Look closely at your habits, your time, your energy. What are you doing just out of habit, guilt or pressure? What are you saying yes to that feels like a burden? Peace requires honest evaluation. You can't keep adding more without removing what's in the way. Protecting your peace is not just about what you do, it's also about what you stop doing. Surround yourself with reminders. Visual cues help you stay grounded. A clean space, a quote on your wall, a note to yourself where you can see it. These things don't fix everything, but they help anchor you when your mind wanders. Let your environment support your peace. You don't need a perfect house or an expensive setup. You just need order, intention, and simplicity. Remember that peace is not something you find when the world slows down. It's something you build every day with small disciplined choices. It comes from structure, from clarity, from knowing what you need, and giving it to yourself without apology. Your peace is worth defending. Your routine is the armor you build around it. Don't wait for a breakdown to start protecting your peace. Do it now. Do it while things are still manageable. Build your structure before the storm. And if you're already in the storm, begin anyway. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to begin. One small change at a time, one new boundary, one quiet moment, one better decision. You deserve a life that feels calm and grounded. not just when things go your way, but especially when they don't. A peaceful life is not made of perfect days. It's made of intentional ones. Build a daily routine that honors this. And over time, you'll stop waiting for peace to come from the outside. You'll know it's something you carry within. Chapter 3. Practice gratitude by writing down 3 daily wins. Gratitude is not a feeling that appears on its own. It is a practice that must be built into your daily life with purpose and attention. Every day offers you something to appreciate, but you won't notice it unless you train your mind to look for it. Writing down 3 daily wins is a simple habit, yet it has the power to change how you see yourself, your life, and even your future. It shifts your focus from what's missing to what's working. It teaches your brain to recognize progress instead of only seeing problems. It helps you feel grounded in a world that often moves too fast. When you take a few minutes at the end of each day to write down 3 things that went well, you are not just making a list. You are reminding yourself that forward motion exists, even if it's small. You are building confidence by proving to yourself that you are capable. You are separating your identity from your setbacks by highlighting what you've done right. These wins don't have to be dramatic. They don't have to impress anyone else. They just have to be real and meaningful to you. That's enough. Maybe you got out of bed even when you didn't feel like it. Maybe you completed a task you had been avoiding. Maybe you chose patience when you wanted to react in anger. These are wins, not because they are perfect or extraordinary, but because they represent effort and direction. They show that you are trying, and trying is always worthy of acknowledgement. The power of this habit comes from consistency. Writing down 3 wins once a week won't change much, but doing it every night, even when the day feels hard, even when nothing feels special, is what creates the shift. It's in the discipline of showing up and finding something good, even on your worst days, that the real growth happens. You are teaching your mind to collect reasons to keep going. Gratitude linked to personal wins is especially powerful because it helps you see your own contribution to your happiness. Too often, people wait for big events or praise from others to feel proud. But the truth is, the small choices you make daily are what shape your life. When you track those choices with gratitude, you stop waiting for approval and start recognizing your own strength. This habit also helps you build resilience. Life will not always go your way. You will face disappointment, frustration, and pain. But if you train yourself to look for wins in the middle of that struggle, you will find reasons to keep moving forward. You will learn that even in difficulty, there is progress. Even in chaos, there is something to be proud of. Gratitude doesn't erase your pain, but it balances your perspective. It gives you something solid to hold on to. To build this habit effectively, create a simple process. Choose a time each evening when you can sit quietly. Get a notebook or use a digital app if you prefer. But make it a dedicated space where you record your 3 wins. Don't rush. Take a breath. Let the day come back to you. Think about where you tried, where you grew, where you made a better decision. Write it down clearly. This is not about perfect grammar or beautiful words. This is about truth. At first, it might feel forced. You might struggle to find anything that feels like a win. That's normal. Keep going. The more you practice, the more your brain will start to notice good moments in real time. You'll start thinking throughout the day, this could be one of my wins tonight. That awareness alone will start to shift your behavior. It keeps you mindful. It keeps you hopeful. You might also find that this habit brings clarity. When you review your wins over time, patterns will emerge. You'll notice what matters most to you. You'll see where you feel strong and where you need support. You'll be able to track progress you would have missed otherwise. This reflection helps you grow with direction instead of by accident. It gives you data about your own journey. Another important part of this practice is being honest. Don't write what sounds good. Write what's real. Some days your win might be that you made it through without giving up. That counts. Some days your win might be choosing to rest instead of pushing through exhaustion. That counts too. What matters is that you stay honest with yourself. You are not trying to impress anyone. You are trying to build a relationship with your own growth. Over time, this daily practice becomes a form of self-trust. It reminds you that you are doing better than you think. It builds emotional stability by helping you reflect with balance instead of judgment. When life is overwhelming, you will have proof that you are still moving. When doubt creeps in, you will have your own words reminding you of your effort. This habit also affects how you treat others. When you are connected to your own progress, you become more compassionate. You understand that everyone is working through something. You become less reactive and more grounded. You listen better. You encourage more. Gratitude for your own wins makes you more likely to see the good in others, and that makes your relationship stronger. If you ever feel like giving up on this habit, remind yourself why it matters. You are not doing it to stay positive. You are doing it to stay aware. You are not ignoring what's hard. You are choosing to also see what's good. That choice is what makes all the difference. That choice is what keeps your spirit strong. Even on the days that feel heavy, take a moment. Write 3 things that went right. 3 things that gave you strength. 3 things that reminded you that you are still here, still trying, still growing. They are always there, even when they're hard to see. The act of searching for them is where the real power lies. Don't wait for life to get easier to feel proud. Don't wait for everything to go right to feel thankful. Start now. Start today. Write your 3 wins every night, with honesty, with care, with intention. You are not just recording your progress. You are building the mindset that will carry you through anything. This is how growth happens, quietly, daily, and with deep respect for every step forward. Chapter 4. Choose uplifting thoughts when negative ones appear. Your mind has the power to shape your entire experience of life, but too often it turns into a place of constant criticism, worry, and fear. When negative thoughts show up, they rarely ask permission. They don't knock gently. They barge in, speak loudly, and try to take over your inner world. They feed on your doubts, magnify your mistakes, and repeat stories from your past. If you don't learn how to interrupt them, they will guide your decisions, steal your confidence, and drain your peace. But there is a way to take back control. You don't need to silence every negative thought, but you can learn to respond with something better. You can choose to think in ways that support your growth and protect your mind. Uplifting thoughts are not fake or forced. They are real, grounded, and intentional. They are the thoughts that remind you of your strength when you feel weak. They are the ones that point out your progress when your mind only wants to focus on what went wrong. Choosing better thoughts is not about pretending everything is fine. It's about building the discipline to direct your attention to what helps you rather than what hurts you. It's about creating mental habits that keep you steady when life is unpredictable. When a negative thought appears, like, "I'm not good enough," "I always mess things up," or "nothing will ever change," you have a choice. That thought is not a command. It's a suggestion, and you are not obligated to believe it just because it showed up. You can pause. You can observe it without reacting, and then you can decide whether it deserves your attention. Most of the time it doesn't. Most of the time it's just old programming, fear or fatigue, trying to speak. This kind of awareness takes practice. At first your negative thoughts may feel automatic. That's because they've been repeated so many times that your brain thinks they're facts. But just because something is familiar doesn't mean it's true. You have to begin by noticing when these thoughts appear. Notice how they make you feel. Notice how they influence what you say, what you do, and what you believe. The more aware you become, the more power you have to shift. When you catch a negative thought, ask yourself one simple question. Is this helping me grow? If the answer is no, that's your signal to change the channel. You don't fight the thought. You don't argue with it. You simply move your focus to something more useful. This is where uplifting thoughts come in. Think of them as mental anchors, simple, clear reminders that ground you in a better truth. Not a perfect truth, but a stronger one. An uplifting thought might sound like, "I've gotten through hard things before." It might be, "I don't have to get everything right to be worthy," or "This moment is tough, but it won't last forever." You don't need complicated words or fancy affirmations. You just need thoughts that bring you back to calm, courage, and clarity. You need thoughts that create movement instead of keeping you stuck. To build this habit, create a list of 5 to 10 thoughts that feel true, supportive, and encouraging. Write them down somewhere you can see them often. Use them when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel stuck, or when your mind starts spinning in doubt. At first, this may feel awkward. Your brain might resist. That's normal. Your brain is used to its old patterns, but with consistency, you'll build new ones. The goal isn't to eliminate all negativity. That's not realistic. You're human. You will still feel frustration, fear, and disappointment. The goal is to stop feeding those thoughts with more energy than they deserve. The goal is to build enough awareness and strength that you can gently redirect your mind when it starts to spiral. You are not the voice in your head. You are the one who hears it. And you get to decide what stays and what goes. When you start replacing negative thoughts with uplifting ones, your emotions begin to shift. You feel less trapped and more empowered. You start showing up differently in your life, with more patience, more hope, and more presence. This mental shift creates emotional space. You are no longer drowning in your thoughts. You are observing them, choosing them, and guiding them toward something healthier. This choice also affects your relationships. When you stop believing every anxious or angry thought that appears, you become less reactive. You listen more. You judge less. You show up with more compassion for others and for yourself. That creates deeper connection. It builds trust, and it makes your life feel more balanced, even when it's difficult. The discipline of choosing better thoughts is not a one-time decision. It's something you do every day. Some days it will feel easy. Other days it will feel like a battle. But over time it becomes second nature. You become someone who can stay calm in conflict, hopeful in uncertainty, and steady in chaos. You become someone who creates peace from the inside out, not by avoiding struggle, but by learning how to meet it with a clear and focused mind. This habit is also a form of self-respect. It's how you protect your energy. It's how you stop letting your inner critic run the show. When you refuse to let negative thoughts define your day, you are standing up for yourself. You are saying, "I am worthy of a better story," and every time you do that, you get a little stronger. Every time you redirect your mind towards something positive, you are building a more resilient version of yourself. even if no one else sees it, even if nothing around you changes right away. This inner work matters. It's the foundation for every other change you want to make. Because until you master your thinking, you will always feel like your life is controlling you. But once you take responsibility for your mind, you begin to shape your world in a new way. You respond instead of react. You lead instead of follow. You live with purpose instead of fear. Choosing uplifting thoughts is not about ignoring pain. It's about making space for something more than pain. It's about remembering that you are not powerless. You may not control everything that happens to you, but you always have control over how you respond to it. And that choice repeated over time becomes your strength. It becomes your peace. It becomes the mindset that carries you forward when life feels heavy. So when the negative thoughts come, and they will, pause, notice them, thank them for trying to protect you. Then choose something better. Choose a thought that brings light into your mind. Choose a thought that keeps you grounded. Choose a thought that reminds you of who you really are. And then keep choosing it, again and again, until your mind becomes a place where strength grows. Until your thoughts become tools instead of traps. Until your inner world reflects the life you are building, calm, strong, and deeply alive. Chapter 5. Connect deeply with people who make you better. Some people bring you closer to yourself. They make you feel more grounded, more understood, and more capable than you thought possible. These people are not perfect, but they are present. They challenge you without tearing you down. They lift you without needing attention for it. They listen without judgment and speak with honesty that helps rather than harms. Being around them feels like breathing clean air, simple, necessary, and renewing. Life can be hard, uncertain, even lonely at times. But the presence of the right people changes the way you carry the weight of your days. Connection, real connection, is not about constant communication. It's about quality. It's about depth. And it's about who you choose to let influence your thoughts, your habits, and your identity. Every relationship has energy. Some drain you and some restore you. When you surround yourself with people who genuinely want the best for you, something shifts in your spirit. You stop having to perform. You stop shrinking yourself to avoid discomfort. You stop hiding the parts of you that are still learning, still growing. That kind of support doesn't make your problems disappear. It gives you the clarity and courage to face them. It reminds you that you're not alone and that your worth isn't tied to how perfect you appear, but how true you are. There's a different kind of strength that comes from knowing someone has your back. It allows you to take more risks. It quiets the fear of failure. It creates a sense of belonging that no success or achievement can replicate. This kind of connection helps you stay committed to your growth, even when life gets noisy. And it does more than make you feel good. It makes you better. You start thinking more clearly. You make healthier choices. You begin to match the energy of the people who see your potential instead of your past. That's why who you spend time with matters more than how much time you spend. Even one honest, growth-minded relationship can influence your direction more than 100 surface-level connections. To find these people, you have to be honest with yourself first. Ask yourself who makes you feel strong, not just entertained. Who pushes you to be more disciplined, not just more comfortable. Who shows up when you need quiet support, not just loud celebration. The people who help you grow are not always the most fun or the most flattering. They are the ones who help you return to your values when you've wandered from them. They keep you aligned with your purpose, even if that means asking hard questions or holding you accountable. But this isn't just about finding those people, it's about becoming one. Be someone who lifts others without needing anything in return. Be someone who encourages progress, not perfection. Be someone who listens deeply, without the urge to interrupt or fix. The more you embody what you seek, the more you attract people who share the same principles. Growth-focused relationships are a reflection of mutual commitment. Both sides contribute. Both sides learn. Both sides benefit. There is no need for ego, comparison, or competition. Only a shared desire to keep becoming stronger, wiser, and more centered. If you've spent years around people who drain your energy or diminish your ambition, it can feel strange at first to build something better. You might question whether you deserve it. You might feel guilty for stepping away from relationships that no longer serve your peace. But protecting your mind and your future is not selfish. It's responsible. You're not cutting people off in anger. You're making room for connections that bring clarity and renewal. And sometimes that means letting go of long histories in favor of healthier futures. When you connect with the right people, something unlocks inside you. Your goals don't feel as heavy. Your thoughts don't spiral as easily. You begin to speak with more confidence, act with more intention, and feel more secure in who you are. These relationships become a quiet form of strength, something steady you can return to when the world feels uncertain. And even if you only have one or two people who meet you at that level, it's enough. Depth is more powerful than volume. It's not about having many, it's about having the right ones. Every meaningful connection starts with presence, not just physical presence, but emotional availability. To connect deeply, you have to be willing to show up fully. That means being honest about your struggles. It means being open to feedback. It means not hiding behind performance or distraction. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's an invitation to be real. And in a world that often rewards image over integrity, being real is rare and valuable. It's how trust is built. It's how bonds are strengthened. It's how people come to know and care for the truth of who you are. Sometimes, connecting deeply also means slowing down. It means taking time to truly listen instead of waiting to talk. It means asking questions that matter, instead of settling for small talk. It means caring enough to remember the details, follow up on what someone said, and be there in quiet moments, not just loud ones. These small acts create something meaningful, something that makes people feel seen, heard, and safe. And that's when connection becomes transformation. You may not always feel like putting in the effort. Life gets busy. Stress builds, distractions multiply. But investing in meaningful relationships is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Your mental health, your resilience, your sense of identity all depend on the quality of the people you allow into your life. Choose carefully, protect your space, prioritize those who align with your values and bring out the best in you. And don't wait for others to take the lead. Reach out, check in, encourage, be present. The return on that effort is not always immediate, but it is always worth it. You don't need perfect people, you need real ones. You need people who are committed to growing, even if they haven't figured it all out. People who don't flinch at your flaws and don't abandon you in your doubt. People who remind you, by how they live, that becoming better is a daily process, not a final destination. When you find them, honor them, make time, be consistent, show gratitude, And if you haven't found them yet, become that kind of person first. Often that's how they appear, not through luck, but through alignment. In a world that is often loud, rushed and surface level, deep connection is an act of resistance. It's a decision to live with heart, to value substance over show, to seek truth over image. And in making that choice, you create a life that feels rooted, balanced, and full of meaning. You build a support system that holds you steady, not just when you're succeeding, but especially when you're struggling. Because real growth doesn't happen in isolation, it happens in relationship. And the right relationships make everything, your thoughts, your habits, your future, better. Chapter 6. Simplify your life by letting go of pressure. There comes a point when carrying more doesn't make you stronger. It just makes you tired. So much of modern life is built on the idea that we must do more, be more, and prove more to matter. Pressure has become so constant that it can feel normal to live with a clenched jaw, a racing mind, and an unshakable sense that you're behind. But normal doesn't always mean right. And the truth is, most of the pressure you carry isn't necessary. It's inherited, absorbed, imagined. Expectations from the outside world have a way of embedding themselves into your inner dialogue, convincing you that unless you're hustling, performing, or pleasing someone else, you're failing. That belief keeps people trapped in patterns of overthinking, overcommitting, and overwhelming themselves for goals that aren't even their own. Letting go of pressure doesn't mean letting go of standards. It means choosing clarity over chaos. It means being intentional instead of reactive. When you simplify your life, you're not giving up on ambition, you're redefining what success really means for you. You're choosing peace over performance, focus over frenzy. You stop trying to prove yourself to people who don't know your path. You stop chasing milestones that don't match your values. And in doing that, you make space. Space to breathe, to think, to rest. Space to reconnect with what actually matters and walk through life without feeling constantly weighed down. Pressure often comes from comparison. When you measure your life against someone else's highlight reel, you lose sight of your own progress. You start believing that if you're not doing everything, you're not doing enough. But no one can live fully while running on empty. You were not designed to carry every expectation placed on you. You are allowed to go at your own pace. You are allowed to focus on fewer things and do them well. You are allowed to create boundaries around your energy and time. And most of all, you are allowed to live a quiet, steady life without apology. The first step to simplifying is getting honest about what's actually required and what's just noise. Write down everything you feel you should be doing. Then go through the list and ask yourself, who told me this was necessary? Is this aligned with the life I want to build? What would happen if I stopped doing this? Most of the time, the consequences you imagine are far worse than the reality. You'll discover that many of the things draining your energy are self-imposed. When you release them, even slowly, you begin to reclaim your strength. There's a kind of freedom that comes when you stop trying to keep up with everything and everyone. You begin to notice beauty in stillness. You rediscover the joy in ordinary moments. A quiet meal, a simple walk, an unhurried conversation. These things are not glamorous, but they are grounding. They give you back your sense of presence, the ability to be where you are, not always racing ahead to where you think you should be. When your days are full of unnecessary pressure, presence disappears. You may get a lot done, but you rarely feel alive in it. You're surviving, not experiencing, and that's not the kind of life worth living. Simplifying also means saying no more often, not out of selfishness, but out of self-respect. Every yes costs time, energy, and attention. If you give those away too freely, you'll find yourself stretched thin and wondering why you feel so disconnected. Saying no to what drains you is how you say yes to what feeds you. It's how you protect your peace without guilt. You don't owe everyone access to your energy. You don't have to explain your limits to people who benefit from you having none. You get to decide what's worth your bandwidth, and you don't have to wait until burnout to draw that line. Another source of pressure is perfectionism, the idea that everything must be flawless before it's good enough. But perfection is a moving target. It's never satisfied. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of delay, disappointment, and discontent. Simplicity is the antidote. It says progress matters more than polish. It values completion over control. When you release the need to do things perfectly, you become more productive, not less. You start taking action instead of over-planning. You start creating instead of criticizing. And you begin to trust yourself, even when the path ahead isn't clear. Letting go of pressure also involves slowing down your thoughts. When your mind is constantly racing, clarity is impossible. You end up reacting to life instead of responding with intention. Create moments of stillness in your day. Even 5 minutes of quiet can help reset your nervous system. Breathe deeply. Step away from screens. Sit in silence. These small pauses help interrupt the spiral of stress. They remind you that you are not a machine. You don't have to be in motion to have value. In fact, some of the most important breakthroughs happen when you stop trying to force them. Simplifying doesn't mean avoiding hard things. It means facing them with focus. When your life is overloaded, even small problems feel unmanageable. But when you remove the excess, you have more emotional space to deal with what really matters. You respond with more patience. You solve problems more effectively, and you stay more grounded in your values, rather than getting swept up in urgency and anxiety. A simpler life is not a smaller life. It's a clearer one. It gives you the ability to move through challenges with steadiness instead of panic. You might worry that letting go of pressure will make you lazy or unmotivated. But the opposite is true. When you're not constantly burned out, your motivation becomes more sustainable. You work smarter. You think more creatively. You follow through with more consistency. Discipline doesn't require chaos. It thrives in simplicity. When your life is no longer cluttered with endless demands, your priorities become sharper. Your goals become more achievable, and your actions become more meaningful. The pressure to be everything to everyone is a heavy burden, but the need to impress others is not your purpose. You are not here to live a life that looks good, but feels hollow. You are here to live with depth, peace, and purpose. That kind of life doesn't come from running faster. It comes from stepping back. It comes from asking yourself what actually brings you peace, what truly adds value, and what you can release without regret. Life becomes lighter when you stop carrying what isn't yours. It becomes clearer when you stop trying to meet everyone's expectations. And it becomes more joyful when you stop believing that doing more is the same as being better. Simplifying isn't about doing less for the sake of it. It's about doing what matters most, with heart and presence. That's how pressure turns into peace. And that's how you begin to live, not just survive. Chapter 7. Take care of your body with daily movement. Your body is not separate from your happiness. It's the vessel that carries it. When you neglect movement, even in small ways, It affects everything: your mood, your energy, your focus, your confidence. Movement isn't just about fitness or appearance. It's about honoring the body that keeps showing up for you. Each stretch, each step, each breath is a way to say, I care about being alive. Daily movement isn't about chasing a finish line. It's about keeping the engine of your well-being tuned, responsive, and resilient. It's one of the simplest things you can do to feel better every single day, no matter what else life throws at you. When life gets heavy or complicated, moving your body creates a sense of rhythm in the chaos. It anchors you in something solid. The act of walking, even for 10 minutes, can calm a restless mind. A short morning stretch can dissolve stiffness and give you a sense of calm before your day begins. Lifting something, pushing against resistance, using your muscles intentionally, these things ground you in your physical strength and remind you that you're capable, even when mentally you feel unsure. The most important part is not how long or how hard you move, it's that you move consistently, gently, and with respect for where your body is today. There are people who think movement needs to be intense to be valuable, but that idea keeps many stuck. It creates guilt instead of encouragement. The truth is, the body doesn't need punishment. It needs care. Movement can be joyful. It can be slow. It can be quiet. You don't need fancy routines or perfect form to gain the benefits. You need consistency and intention. A walk around your neighborhood counts. Dancing to your favorite song counts. Stretching your arms while standing in the kitchen counts. Every time you move, you're sending a message to your body. I haven't forgotten about you. Movement clears emotional buildup. When you feel anxious, angry, overwhelmed, your nervous system stores that stress. But your body was designed to process it through action. That's why movement helps. It shakes loose the tension. It resets your breathing. It shifts your chemistry. The act of moving helps you release what words can't always express. There's a reason people say, I just needed to get out for a bit. It's not about escaping life. It's about returning to it with a clearer head and a lighter heart. Regular movement is one of the most accessible tools you have for emotional clarity, yet it's often ignored when people feel low. But it's in those very moments that movement becomes most valuable. You don't have to be motivated to move. You just have to start. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. The first step might feel like a chore, but once you begin, something shifts. The resistance fades, your posture straightens, your thoughts begin to slow. You feel the blood circulating, the breath deepening, the clutter inside your mind beginning to organize itself. You remember that you're not stuck, you're just still, and stillness is only ever broken by motion. Starting small is the key. Set a tiny goal and follow through. The satisfaction you feel afterward builds the habit. Over time, your body starts to crave movement because it recognizes how good it feels to be in motion. One of the most empowering parts of daily movement is the relationship it builds between you and your physical self. In a world full of distractions, movement reconnects you to your senses. You feel your feet hit the ground, your breath fill your lungs, your muscles contract and release. You stop living entirely in your head and come home to the body that supports you through every challenge. This connection builds self-trust. It reminds you that your body is not just a shell, it's a partner in your growth. Taking care of it doesn't need to be about changing it. It can be about appreciating it, strengthening it, and helping it carry you through life with more ease. As you move daily, you also develop mental discipline. There will be days when your body feels tired, your mood feels flat, or your mind gives you a dozen reasons to skip it. But choosing to move anyway, even a little, is how you build resilience. You train yourself to follow through, even when it's inconvenient. And that same discipline spills into other areas of your life. You make better choices. You manage stress with more clarity. You become more intentional with your time. That's the real reward of daily movement. It shapes not just your body, but your character. There's also a powerful lesson in how the body improves over time. When you move every day, even in small amounts, you see progress. You feel stronger. You carry yourself differently. And that progress reinforces a deep truth. Effort pays off. This truth becomes a source of encouragement far beyond physical health. It teaches you that small things done consistently lead to real change. It shows you that showing up matters more than showing off. That's how confidence grows, not by comparison, but by commitment. Daily movement doesn't have to be done alone either. Moving with others can deepen connection. Go for a walk with a friend. Join a class. Stretch with your partner before bed. Shared movement creates shared momentum. It reminds you that health is not just about individual achievement, it's also about shared support. When people move together, they encourage each other in ways words often can't. There's something profoundly human about it. And in a world that often feels disconnected, that kind of shared energy can be healing. No matter your age or ability, there is a form of movement that fits your life. The key is to stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for more time, more energy, or a better plan. Begin where you are. Choose one movement you can commit to, and build from there. Keep it simple. Make it sustainable. Let it be something that fits naturally into your day, not something that disrupts it. Remember, the purpose is not to impress anyone, it's to support your well-being. Movement should serve your life, not compete with it. The benefits of daily movement ripple through every part of your existence. Better sleep, sharper focus, improved mood, greater endurance, more patience, and perhaps most importantly, a steady sense of strength that you can rely on. Life is unpredictable, but when your body is cared for, you meet those challenges with greater capacity. You walk taller, you breathe easier, you recover faster, and you carry yourself with the quiet confidence that comes from honoring your physical needs day after day. Taking care of your body through daily movement is not an extra task, it's a foundational habit. It supports your clarity, your mood, your choices, your resilience. It gives you a daily anchor, a way to ground yourself no matter what's happening around you. And over time, it becomes something you look forward to, because it's not just about health, it's about coming home to yourself. Through movement, you remember I am alive, I am capable, I am here. Chapter 8. Speak kindly to yourself in every situation. The way you speak to yourself becomes the tone of your entire life. Every word you think, every phrase you repeat, every judgment you hold inside shapes the way you see yourself and how you move through the world. If the voice in your head is harsh, unforgiving, or constantly critical, it becomes difficult to build peace, confidence, or momentum. But when that voice is kind, especially in difficult moments, you begin to experience life differently. You feel more grounded, more capable, more accepting. Speaking kindly to yourself isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about choosing language that supports you instead of tearing you down, especially when things aren't fine. You don't need to wait until you feel good about yourself to speak kindly. The kind words come first. That's how the healing begins. In moments of stress, failure, or embarrassment, what you say to yourself can either soothe your nervous system or inflame it. Telling yourself, "I messed up, but I'm trying," is not the same as saying, "I'm such a failure." One gives you a path forward. The other makes you shrink, and over time, that shrinking becomes a habit, unless you interrupt it. Replacing that internal script with one that is compassionate and realistic takes effort, but it changes your relationship with your own mind. It helps you see yourself as someone worthy of care, not someone constantly needing correction. So many people speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to someone they love. They call themselves names. They replay their mistakes with shame. They downplay their strengths. This habit doesn't come from truth. It comes from patterns, and patterns can be changed. The first step is awareness. Notice when you're being unkind to yourself. Not with judgment, but with curiosity. Ask, would I speak to a friend like this? Often the answer is no. That's when you know it's time to shift the tone. Speaking kindly doesn't mean ignoring your flaws. It means addressing them without cruelty. It's the difference between saying, "I have room to grow," and "I'm never good enough." One is honest and hopeful. The other is destructive. Kind self-talk allows space for both accountability and compassion. It says, "I can do better, and I still deserve respect." That's the kind of mindset that leads to real change, not from shame but from encouragement. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to separate growth from guilt. You start to believe that you're allowed to evolve without punishing yourself for who you used to be. Kindness also means giving yourself permission to rest, to say no, to start again without criticism. It means recognizing your effort, even when results don't come quickly. It means speaking to yourself with gentleness in the middle of uncertainty. Life will give you enough challenges. You don't need to be one of them. When your internal dialogue becomes a place of refuge instead of attack, you move through hard moments with more resilience. You stop avoiding reflection because you're no longer afraid of your own voice. There will be times when your emotions run high, anger, sadness, anxiety, and your first instinct may be to criticize yourself for feeling that way. "I shouldn't feel this," you might think, or "Why am I like this?" But kind self-talk acknowledges emotions without judgment. It says, "This is hard, and I'm allowed to feel it." That statement doesn't make the emotion disappear, but it removes the shame around it. And in that space, you're more likely to respond wisely instead of reacting impulsively. Your words become a tool of regulation, not repression. Over time, how you talk to yourself becomes how you believe others see you. If your self-talk is filled with unworthiness, you'll begin to expect rejection. If it's full of doubt, you'll hesitate to try. But if your inner voice is understanding and supportive, you're more likely to take healthy risks, speak up for yourself, and accept love without suspicion. The internal always leaks into the external. That's why changing how you talk to yourself changes everything else. It's the foundation of all confidence. And confidence, contrary to what many think, doesn't mean being loud. It means feeling secure in your own mind. To practice this daily, start small. When you notice a harsh thought, pause. Replace it with something gentler. If you make a mistake, instead of spiraling, say, "I'm learning." Everyone stumbles. If you feel overwhelmed, tell yourself, "It's okay to take a breath. I'm not behind." These words may feel unnatural at first, but they will begin to soften the noise inside you. And that softness isn't weakness, it's safety. It gives your nervous system a place to land. It helps you stay present. It reminds you that you're human, and being human is not a flaw. It's a shared condition. You don't have to be endlessly positive. That's not the goal. Life isn't always joyful, and pretending otherwise isn't helpful. But kindness in your self-talk means you speak to yourself as someone worth supporting, no matter what. Even when you're disappointed, even when you're tired, even when you feel lost, you don't abandon yourself in those moments. You offer stability. You say, "This is difficult, but I've gotten through difficult before." Or, "Right now, I need care more than criticism." These aren't just affirmations, they're acts of emotional leadership. They show you how to be your own anchor. With time, your self-talk becomes less of a performance and more of a steady habit. You catch the critical thoughts before they spiral. You respond to challenges without attacking yourself. You build a new language, one that feels like encouragement, not pressure. And from that language, new behaviors form. You try new things. You rest without guilt. You forgive yourself faster. You speak up when you used to stay silent. All because the voice guiding you is no longer working against you. Kind self-talk also teaches others how to treat you. When you model self-respect, you create boundaries naturally. You don't settle for relationships that drain you. You don't allow others to define your worth. Your inner dialogue becomes a mirror. When you speak to yourself with dignity, others are more likely to follow. And when they don't, you feel confident enough to walk away. Because you know your value. Not because someone told you, but because you reminded yourself often enough that it finally became real. This practice doesn't guarantee a perfect life, but it builds a more stable one. One where you're not constantly at war with yourself. One where you're allowed to be both flawed and whole. One where setbacks don't spiral into self-loathing. You become someone you can rely on, even in uncertainty. That trust, the quiet, consistent trust in your own voice, is what peace is made of. And it starts with the words you choose when no one else is listening. Chapter 9. Face hard moments by focusing on small wins. Life will inevitably bring moments that test us deeply, times when the weight of challenges feels overwhelming and the future seems uncertain. These moments, no matter how difficult, are not permanent states but passages through which we grow stronger. When the difficulties come, the natural tendency is to focus on the vastness of the problem, feeling crushed by its size and impact. But true resilience emerges when attention shifts from the overwhelming whole to the manageable parts, the small wins. These small victories are the lifelines that anchor us amid the storm, giving us steady steps forward when everything else feels chaotic. Small wins carry immense power because they bring the focus back to what is within reach. In the hardest times, your energy and willpower may feel drained, but there are always actions you can take, however tiny, that create momentum. This momentum breaks the inertia of despair and signals to your mind and body that progress is possible. It transforms the narrative from helplessness to agency. Even the smallest success, a completed task, a moment of calm, a kind word to yourself, serves as evidence that you are capable of navigating hardship. That evidence builds a foundation of hope, which is crucial when facing adversity. By concentrating on small wins, you avoid the trap of paralysis that often comes with viewing problems as insurmountable. When the brain is overwhelmed, it struggles to find solutions and may default to avoidance or negative rumination. Narrowing your attention to immediate achievable goals creates clarity and reduces anxiety. It breaks down the mountain of difficulty into pebbles you can handle. This reframing shifts the experience from a draining ordeal to a series of manageable steps, making it easier to stay engaged and resilient. Each small win, no matter how modest, carries more than just practical value. It delivers a psychological boost that counters discouragement. Accomplishment releases dopamine, a natural neurotransmitter associated with motivation and pleasure. This biochemical reward encourages you to keep going, even when the path is hard. These moments of success, as simple as they might be, create a ripple effect. They improve your mood, strengthen your resolve, and renew your focus on what you can influence, rather than what you cannot. Facing hardship with a focus on small wins does not mean ignoring the pain or pretending difficulties don't exist. It means choosing to navigate through them with strategy and compassion for yourself. Recognizing that you can only control so much at once invites patience. It allows you to celebrate partial victories without waiting for a total solution. In doing so, you give yourself permission to progress incrementally. This approach is deeply aligned with the idea that growth is a process, not a sudden event. It encourages persistence and self-trust. Practical application of this mindset begins with identifying what a small win looks like in your current situation. It could be as simple as getting out of bed on a tough day, making a healthy meal, returning a phone call, or taking 5 minutes to breathe deeply. These actions might seem insignificant in isolation, but in the context of difficulty, they represent courage and forward movement. Writing down these wins daily helps keep them visible and reinforces their importance. It also trains your mind to notice progress instead of only setbacks. Building a list of small wins anchors your attention in what you are achieving. Over time, this list serves as proof that you are capable of handling adversity, creating a buffer against despair. It rewires your thinking from scarcity, what's missing or broken, to abundance, the efforts and successes that persist. This shift is critical for mental and emotional health, especially in prolonged struggles where hope might flicker. In moments when discouragement creeps in, revisiting your small wins can reorient your mindset. It reminds you that you have faced challenges before and moved through them step by step. This recollection strengthens your belief that you will do so again. It also nurtures gratitude, which adds another layer of resilience by focusing on the positives amid hardship. Sometimes small wins involve changing your internal dialogue. Instead of telling yourself, "I can't handle this," you say, "I'm doing what I can right now." This subtle shift acknowledges the difficulty while reinforcing your effort and presence. Such internal affirmations, paired with visible actions, build a holistic approach to overcoming hard times. Your body, mind, and emotions begin to align with progress rather than defeat. The discipline of focusing on small wins also protects you from burnout. Tackling everything at once or waiting for big breakthroughs can drain your energy and spirit. Recognizing small victories creates sustainable pacing. It respects your limits and values consistency over intensity. This steady approach encourages endurance, which is essential when life's challenges are prolonged or recurring. Facing hard moments through small wins requires flexibility. Sometimes what counts as a win will change day by day, depending on your circumstances and energy. What matters is the intention behind the action to move forward with kindness and presence. This adaptability keeps you engaged rather than stuck. It also nurtures creativity, as you find new ways to claim victory in tough situations. The process of accumulating small wins builds self-confidence. It redefines your relationship with difficulty, transforming it from a source of fear to an opportunity for demonstration of your resilience. The knowledge that you have successfully navigated past challenges, no matter how small the steps, instills courage for future struggles. This confidence is a protective shield, one that guards your peace against the chaos that life sometimes brings. Ultimately, the habit of focusing on small wins cultivates a mindset of patience, persistence, and self-compassion. It acknowledges that while the journey through hardship is not easy, it is possible. Each small success becomes a building block in a larger structure of strength. The accumulation of these blocks creates a foundation solid enough to stand on when the winds of difficulty blow hard. Choosing to see and celebrate these small wins daily rewires your brain to recognize progress rather than perfection. It quiets the inner critic that amplifies fear and doubt. In its place, you nurture an inner coach, a voice that guides with wisdom, steadiness, and encouragement. This voice reminds you that every step forward, no matter how small, is meaningful and worthy of acknowledgement. In the face of difficulty, there is power in simplicity. You don't need to solve everything today. You don't need to fix all your problems at once. You only need to take the next small step. That step might be as basic as breathing fully, standing tall, or choosing to keep going. It is through these steps that resilience is built. It is through these small wins that hope is kept alive. You are stronger than the hardest moments you face. By focusing on small wins, you reclaim control over your experience. You create a daily habit of progress that propels you forward, and in doing so, you discover that even when life is hard, you can still find ways to be happy each day. Chapter 10. End each day with reflection and self-encouragement. Each day holds a unique rhythm, a set of experiences that shape who we are and how we move forward. As the day draws to a close, there is immense value in pausing to look back, not with judgment or regret, but with thoughtful reflection and genuine self-encouragement. This quiet time is an opportunity to understand yourself more deeply, to appreciate your efforts, and to prepare your mind and spirit for the challenges and possibilities of tomorrow. Reflection is not simply recalling events, but engaging with them meaningfully. It involves asking questions that deepen awareness. What went well today? Where did I face difficulty? How did I respond to the challenges? What lessons can I take with me? By turning your attention inward in this way, you begin to build a stronger relationship with yourself. This relationship is a foundation for lasting happiness and resilience. When you truly understand your daily patterns, your strengths, weaknesses, and responses, you gain the power to influence your future choices consciously. The act of reflecting provides clarity. It helps untangle the clutter of the day's activities, emotions, and thoughts. Sometimes, the busyness of life creates a fog where important insights are missed. Taking a moment to slow down clears that fog, allowing you to see more clearly what matters and what doesn't. This clarity is crucial because it informs better decisions moving forward, saving you time and emotional energy. Over time, regular reflection creates a habit of mindfulness that enriches every part of your life. Alongside reflection, self-encouragement plays a vital role in closing the day positively. Life often presents moments when you feel you haven't done enough or fallen short of your ideals. These moments can foster negative self-talk that chips away at confidence and motivation. Self-encouragement counters this by intentionally choosing to recognize your worth and effort regardless of outcomes. It's about speaking to yourself with kindness, acknowledging the courage it takes to keep going, and affirming your ability to grow. Self-encouragement nurtures resilience because it cultivates patience and compassion for yourself. It reminds you that progress is not always linear, and that setbacks are part of the journey. By offering yourself praise for the effort you put forth, even when results aren't perfect, you reinforce a growth mindset. This mindset keeps you open to learning and reduces the fear of failure. You create a safe internal space where mistakes become lessons rather than sources of shame. A practical way to end the day is to create a ritual that includes both reflection and encouragement. This could involve journaling your thoughts about the day, writing down 3 things that went well, 1 challenge you faced, and how you handled it. Then write a few sentences of encouragement to yourself, something affirming that acknowledges your strengths or your commitment to keep moving forward. The physical act of writing these thoughts solidifies their impact, making them more real and lasting. Reflection paired with encouragement also fosters gratitude. Recognizing even the smallest accomplishments or moments of joy can shift your perspective. Instead of fixating on what went wrong or what remains unfinished, you train your mind to appreciate progress and goodness. This shift has a calming effect on the nervous system, promoting better sleep and a more peaceful mindset. It primes you to greet the next day with renewed energy rather than dread. When reflecting, it is important to avoid harsh criticism or dwelling excessively on mistakes. The purpose is not self-punishment, but understanding. If negative patterns emerge, note them without judgment and consider what changes might support your growth. This approach transforms reflection from a potential source of anxiety into a tool for empowerment. It encourages problem-solving and inspires proactive steps rather than stagnation. Ending the day with this balanced perspective also helps regulate emotions. Daily life can bring stress, frustration, or disappointment that linger if not addressed. Reflection allows you to process these feelings consciously, while self-encouragement soothes and reassures. Together, they prevent unresolved emotions from disrupting rest and renewal. A calm and positive mind at bedtime supports better quality sleep, which in turn influences mood, cognition, and overall health. Reflection and encouragement create a feedback loop that reinforces positive habits. As you become more aware of what fuels your well-being, you naturally adjust your actions. You notice what habits, people, or thoughts uplift you, and which ones drain you. This awareness leads to intentional choices that protect your peace and nurture growth. The daily cycle of reflection and encouragement becomes a personal compass, guiding you through life's complexities with more grace and clarity. This practice is deeply aligned with the wisdom of Stoicism, which teaches that we can't control external events, but can control our responses. Reflection gives you insight into your internal world, your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, and self-encouragement strengthens your resolve to act wisely. Together, they build the discipline necessary to face life's challenges with equanimity. You develop a stable inner fortress that no external circumstance can easily shake. Developing the habit of ending each day in this way requires consistency and patience. At first, it might feel unfamiliar or even awkward to spend quiet moments with yourself in honest reflection. The mind may resist, preferring distraction or avoidance. Yet, persistence transforms this time into a sacred practice of self-care and growth. Over weeks and months, the benefits accumulate. You will notice improved emotional balance, clearer thinking, and a gentler inner dialogue. The power of ending each day with reflection and self-encouragement lies not in perfection, but in commitment. It's not about having all the answers or resolving every problem immediately. Instead, it's about honoring your journey, respecting your humanity, and choosing to invest in your well-being one day at a time. This practice becomes a source of strength, reminding you that no matter what happened during the day, you have the ability to choose how you close it and how you begin again tomorrow. As the night falls and you prepare for rest, imagine this moment as a pause, an intentional space where you gather your thoughts and replenish your spirit. In that quiet space, be gentle with yourself. Celebrate the courage it took to face the day, the progress you made, and the hope that carries you forward. By doing this regularly, you build a foundation for lasting happiness that does not depend on external circumstances, but springs from a disciplined, kind, and aware heart. This simple yet profound habit is a gift you give yourself every day, an investment in your mental, emotional, and spiritual health. It creates a sense of closure and renewal that supports resilience and peace. The light you kindle in these reflective moments illuminates your path, making each tomorrow a new opportunity to live fully and happily, even when life is hard.